Today, I think we're gonna be bug hunting. I want to see if we can recreate our infamous ostrich vulture bug. What? We just did it. You guys saw that, right? The vulture flew through us before it detected the collision. Why does it do that? That time was fine. That time was fine. It seems like top and bottom collisions are fine, but look at this. See that? We killed him and he killed us. That shouldn't be possible. Let's see if we can fix that. In our play state, in our vulture, let's just type in collision and find where we do our, look at this, player to enemy collisions here. So what we just did was a player right collides. So I think our player right collides function is just a little off. So I'm wondering if our ostrich enemy right collides, right here, if this might fix our problem. And not only fix the bug, but fix see, why are we doing this? Our ostrich width is what? When we instantiate our player, what is our width and height? Player 1, we have an X, a Y, a width, and a height, so 16 by 24, okay? Yet, in our ostrich collide function, collide with enemy, we've got this +8. We've got this +8 for some reason. Why do we have the +8? We're saying, let me draw this out. Oh my god. Okay. We have 16 by 24. And we're saying if our X +8 is smaller than enemy +8. See, that's where it's messing up. Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that? We should see if the left side of our ostrich. Okay, so this is a little confusing because we have determined the functions in reference to our ostrich. So the enemy left collides is meaning that there's an enemy on our left side of our ostrich. So how do we determine a left collision? Well, in terms of our ostrich, we would need to give a bounding box of a certain size, maybe 2 or 3 pixels, say 3 pixels. That'll be the determining factor for the left, and then we'll have to do the right collision. So let me just delete what we have here and start it from scratch. So I drew this out, and we're going to have to see if the left side of our ostrich collides with the right side of a vulture. So we're going to see if the left side of our ostrich is smaller than the right side of our enemy, which would be enemy.x plus enemy.width. So our left side would have to be smaller than the right side. And our right side, which would be our self.x plus 3, there's that 3 pixel buffer, would have to be greater than the left bounding box of our ostrich, which would be enemy x plus its width, offset by that 3. So we'd have to see if the right side of us is greater than the left side of them. Then, and maybe that's where the +8 was coming from, because look, we have a we were doing this all wrong. We shouldn't have been +8. I don't get why it was +8. It shouldn't have been +8. I don't know where I got the +8. But we got to do the y's, so we're going to see if the top of our ostrich is smaller than the bottom of our enemy. So y plus enemy height. Top of our ostrich would need to be smaller than the bottom of our, top of us needs to be smaller than the bottom of the enemy, and bottom of us, self.y plus self.height, would have to be greater than, the bottom of us has to be greater than the top of our enemy. And if both of those are true, we return true. Otherwise, what? Otherwise, return false. Okay. See, so it looks like we had our Y collision correct, but our X was getting modified by this +8 for some reason. So let's do the same thing here. I gotta draw this out because I just can't do it without drawing it out. I'll just be itching my brain. So if this is ostrich and this is vulture, what I'm just sketching is like little boxes with shade parts for the collidable boxes, just because it helps me visualize it. So if an enemy right collides, that means it has to hit the right side of our enemy and the left side of our vulture. Actually, that's not even true. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, because depending on, it doesn't really matter what way they're facing. I'm doing it on the side of the box that they are, so that's why it's correct. Because it's seeing if they're bouncing. Yeah, I think that's right. So let's see. Let's do this. We're gonna say, hey, we need to see if the left side of our ostrich, so our self.x plus our self.width minus our 3 pixels. That's the left side of our bounding box. We're going to see if that left side is... Actually, let's do the right side first to stay consistent because we do that up above. So the right side would need to be smaller than the the right side of our ostrich would need to be smaller than the right side of our bounding box on our enemy, which is enemy x plus or 3, and our left side, which is our self.x plus our self.width minus our 3, would need to be greater than the leftmost side of our enemy, which is enemy x. Then we need to do our y's. We're going to say our self.y is smaller than the bottom of our enemy, enemy.y plus enemy.height. So our top would have to be smaller than the bottom of the enemy, and our bottom, which is going to be self.y plus self.height, would have to be greater than the top of our enemy, enemy.y. And if both of these are true, we return true, and then otherwise return false. So if we look at we compare what we had to what we have now, we've got this x plus 8, which is why it was so messed up, plus an enemy plus 8. So we were just implementing that all wrong. But then if we look at our y would need to be smaller than enemy y plus enemy height. That's the same thing. And then our height would have to be bigger than enemy y. So yeah, all we did was fuck up the x's on both of these functions. And that only occurs if only a left collide or right collide happens, which we also have bottom collide and top collide at different, see how we have a 6 pixel buffer there. So maybe we change that. Maybe we meet in the middle somewhere and say everything just has a 4 pixel buffer, or I did that on purpose for some reason. I feel like we should probably err on the side of more side collisions than top collisions. I don't exactly know. So, I mean, for now, I'm going to maybe give us 1 more pixel. No, I don't want to do that. Let me just see if that seems to fix our problem here. So we're going for a true side collision, as side as we can get it. That was so busted. That was so busted. See, the top goes right away. What if we do no buffer? We just say right side of us is smaller than... See, I have this backwards. I have this wrong. If we're checking for an enemy left colliding... Fuck. Why is this so hard for me to figure out? Yeah, an enemy left colliding means that our x would be smaller than enemy plus width, and our x plus plus 3 would be greater than okay, maybe that's... What did we actually just change there? So yeah, we're seeing if the left side of our ostrich is smaller than the right, and the right side of our bounding box on our ostrich would need to be greater than Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Nope. Did you see that? We just went right through him. Why? Shit. Let me see when we're doing our collision, what order of operations we're doing. In our player to vulture collisions, we're checking top collision first, bottom collision second. So why do we do this? I'm gonna switch shirts real quick, guys. I'm sweating. It looks like we're checking top collision first, then bottom, then sides. Now, there's no real reason we're doing that. It's almost like if we shrink our collision detection, our collision is so jacked on the side collisions though, which I'm so confused about. Let's walk through this again. So if an ostrich left collides with an enemy is seen, that's why I call it enemy left collides, because it's like enemies on the left. So an enemy would be on the left if our X, if the left side of us is smaller than the rightmost side of our enemy, that's true. And the right side of our bounding box, let's say X plus 4, would have to be greater than the enemy's width minus 4. So what is that? That doesn't do anything. The minus 4 negates the plus 4 on this side. So what are we trying to do here? Because in AABB, we're trying to see if the left side is smaller than the rightmost side, and the rightmost side is bigger than the leftmost side. So what are we fucking up here? Leftmost side is bigger than the rightmost side, and rightmost side, which is our plus 4, would have to be bigger than the leftmost side, which is the width minus 4. I think it's just that. The rightmost side, or bounding box, has to be bigger than the rightmost side. That's what it is. And then we also messed up the right one, which is our rightmost side has to be smaller than... Why do we do this? Leftmost side has to be... Oh my god. Our leftmost side, which is this, because we're trying to detect the bounding box, leftmost side of our bounding box would have to be smaller than the rightmost side of the enemy, which is this. Ugh, this is wrong, man. So leftmost side of our ostrich bounding box, This is on the enemy right collides. So the leftmost side of our bounding box is not the right side of our ostrich, but 3 pixels in. We have to see if the leftmost side is smaller than the rightmost side. See, what gets me is the -3 and the +3 here. Because wouldn't those just cancel out each other? And then we're basically just asking if the right side of our ostrich is smaller than the leftmost side of the enemy, which is not right. So if an enemy right collides is to be true, then our left side would have to be smaller than leftmost side would have to be smaller than the rightmost side. Doesn't make any sense to me. See, and I'm getting confused because, like, I was only ever taught true axis aligned bounding box collision detection. But what I'm doing, I'm not comparing the two squares in itself. I'm taking the sides of the squares, you know, just like our top collision and bottom collision. We're only checking the bottom sliver for collision because we want more accurate detection. We don't want to know if we're colliding, which is just what AABB does, but we want to know how we're colliding. So we're setting up, we're still doing AABB, but we're doing it. Our bounding boxes aren't the shape of our characters or our objects. They're slivers to get more nuanced detection. So like because I don't want the order of operations to matter. I don't want it to do something different based on the order of operations of when we're checking collision. I just want it to do the right thing in the right scenario. So it's like, if they're colliding, check what type of collision it is. And there's gotta be, I just thought of a better idea than all of this. Yeah. I just thought of a better idea than all of this, man. So like we've been doing gosh, let me just try to illustrate this. Where's our A-sprite? Yeah, let me just try to illustrate this real quick because I think I just stumbled onto a better way to do it. Because this is just a nightmare, but I don't know if we're in too deep, because we'd have to take out, not if we redo it with this idea I'm thinking of, and if that idea works, we'd have to redo all our logic and all our functions, which is even more work than I'm just trying to make it work. So if I can just do a little more head scratching and get this one to work, then next time we do it, if my idea works, it might be a better way to go about it. But basically, okay. Let's see. So look, if we've got just want a new file. So if we have our two characters, I'm gonna make a new layer here. How do I do a new layer? Shift N. Okay, so this layer is gonna be a box. Okay. And then we're gonna copy that. We're gonna Shift N, a new layer, and then paste another box. Now, what I'm thinking of, come on. So right now, let's make these a little different colors so we can see difference. So right now, what we have in effect is we've got these little bounding boxes. Okay. And this is how we're supposedly getting the better, getting the better, I already did that on the wrong layer. On the wrong, so we've got these little bounding boxes. Now this is only the left and right bounding box, right? So imagine if our other box had those reds as well. We're checking to see, let me just do that for clarity's sake. Because this is how we're currently doing it. Or currently attempting to do it, but we're failing. We're trying to see if our white squares are ostrich, then our ostrich right collides function is trying to detect a collision between these two red squares, or red rectangles, okay? So like a right collide would only be true if these two red squares are touching. So that's anything from here to here to here to here. Anything that their axis aligned bounding box collision triggers for, okay? And then the left collides is supposed to be checking these ones. Anything colliding on those fronts. And then, so that what that prevents us from doing is if we're right here, we don't want to trigger an enemy left collides because it's not really left colliding. It's more of a top collide here, right? So that's why we have also, imagine two more red bars horizontally, and this would be our top collision and this would be our bottom. So we only have that specific shrunken bounding box of our collision detection to get that more accurate collision detection. But what I was just thinking is, like, imagine we do it totally differently. We don't set up these 4 bounding boxes for every object, but what we do instead is we say once there's a collision, we determine what type of collision it is. So we just do a pure AABB collision, and then we say, okay, what collision it is. And how we do that would be something like, we just say, okay, well, the center of our ostrich compared to the center of our vulture or enemy. And we can see that since the point, if we graph this out, you know, if this one is at if this point is at 20 on the X and 0 on the Y, this one is higher, so it would be like 40 on the X, and then it would be, actually, yeah, if we would say this would be like negative 20 or whatever on the Y, because it's higher. So like we can compare the points, and since we know this point is higher and to the right of this other point, we can say, hey, that's most likely a right collision, and we can set up different. So like instead of having different collisions for every object, we just detect for collision period and then suss out what type of collision it is based on their center points. So I guess the only difficulty then would be like what makes this a top collision instead of a right collision. And we can say, hey, if the Y difference, you know, if the enemy is 50 pixels or whatever, 50 pixels higher, no matter what, it's a top collision because this is just, we're just going to default this to a default top collision or something. We just have to set up the effective bounding boxes within that second check. So that would save us from writing a bunch of different functions for every different object. But I guess we would still have to do, we would have to check for collision and then manually check what type of collision, which could be different for the different objects. So I guess in the end it doesn't really matter. Yeah, but that was my idea. So if we look at the collision detection we're trying to do and failing right now, we need to do, we need to check if the rightmost side of our ostrich bounding box, which is, we can walk through it. Let's see. So for an enemy, let's do right collides first. If an enemy right collides, we know the enemy needs to be on the right. Here we go. So the enemy on the right, like this. So what we're doing is asking, is the rightmost, yeah, we already fucked up. Hold on. So when we're asking the less than, we're making sure that the rightmost side of our self, this line right here, the rightmost side of our self would have to be smaller than the leftmost side. No, hold on. What am I talking about, man? What am I talking about? The rightmost side of our object, of our ostrich, would have to be greater than or less than. What do we even choose? What do we say? This thing would have to be greater than the leftmost side of our bounding box. Yes. So the rightmost side of our ostrich would have to be, let's just switch this around. The rightmost side of our ostrich would have to be greater than the leftmost side, so it would be true right here, because it would be greater than the leftmost side. But also right here, it's greater than the left side, so that's when the other condition comes in. But we need to say greater than the leftmost side of our enemy, greater than just our enemy x. So rightmost side of our player needs to be greater than the leftmost side of our enemy, yes. And our leftmost side would have to be bigger than the rightmost side, just like that. Our leftmost side, which would be this, our width shifted by the 3 pixels. That's right here. Boom. The leftmost side would have to be greater than the enemy's x plus those 3 pixels. See, and this is where I'm getting so confused, is because we're asking a -3 greater than a +3. And in my mind, the -3 cancels out the +3, but that's actually not the case, because it's making this 3 pixels smaller and seeing if it's bigger than this, which is 3 pixels bigger. And they're modifying different variables, so it doesn't equate. So I was wrong in assuming that the -3 and +3 just cancel out. Let's double check, because we're trying to see if the leftmost side of this is the leftmost side of our bounding box right here, which should be right here, 3 pixels in, because this is self.x, this is self.x plus self.width, and this is self.x plus self.width -3 right here. And we're trying to see if this line is greater than the rightmost side of our bounding box. That's not right. We're trying to see if it needs to be less than. I'm so confused. This is why I have to draw it out, because I'm trying to imagine these freaking bounding boxes and then trying to imagine how the collision detection works. Okay. Okay. What are we messing up here? My brain. Because the thing is, this should be a greater than and then a less than, not two greater thans. Let me try this again. Jesus. You guys see why it's so complicated though, right? Like, why I gotta draw it out every time. So we're trying to see, let me just write this out and see if we can make sense of it. We're trying to see if the leftmost side, because look, if we do two new squares, okay, let's do, this is like so basic stuff, but I'm still not getting it. Marquee tool, we're giving ourselves a box, and then we're copying that box, giving ourselves another box, and put that box in a bigger box and smash that box with a hammer. Okay, so for AABB collision detection, we're trying to see, our white is our ostrich, remember? So our self is going to be, we're trying to see if our left side is greater than, no, hold on. Yeah, our left side would have to be greater than the left side, and our right side would have to be, fuck, why is this so confusing to me? Oh, I need like a cheat sheet, man. Why am I... It's that our left side needs to be smaller than the rightmost side, meaning anywhere from here to, and typically over there, but our left side would have to be smaller than the right side, and our right side would have to be greater than our left side, which would stop being true right here. So that's what it is. So if we write that out, let me just write that out because I'm going crazy here. We need to say our left side would have to be smaller than enemy right side. Okay. Our left side would have to be smaller than the enemy's right side, and our right side would have to be greater than our right side would have to be greater than the left side of our enemy. And that's as simple as it is, at least for the X word collision. And then our other one would be our top side would have to be smaller. And I always do smaller first just to keep the AABB easier. Our top side would have to be smaller than the bottom side of our enemy. And our bottom side would have to be greater than the top side of our enemy. So that's it. But instead of top side, or instead of right side and left side, we need to replace this with not the left side. So like here, enemy right side, we're not checking the enemy right side, we're actually checking the bounding box right side right here, making it this smaller sliver. So that's where things are getting lost in translation. But let's do right here. Now that we got the cheat sheet, we're gonna do it with these boxes. So we're gonna say, and this is for our right collides. So it's this bounding box and this bounding box of our ostrich and enemy respectively. So our self left side is not self.x, it's actually self.x plus self.width minus the 3 pixel buffer. That's our left side. And we're checking if that left side is smaller than the right side of our bounding box, which is not enemy.x, it's enemy.x plus 3. And the minus 3 and plus 3 here don't cancel each other out like I was thinking. I mean, yeah, we fucked up here in the original. We had it, yeah, I don't know what we were doing originally, but it explains the bug. So yeah, we're seeing if our left side is smaller than the enemy's right side, and we're seeing if our right side, which in this instance is actually our right side. Imagine, or ignore the white border there. This is actually our x plus our width is for our right side, and we're trying to see if the right side is bigger than the leftmost side of our enemy. And in this case, this is actually just our enemy's x. So remember I said one of these needed to be swapped to a less than. God damn you. Okay, whatever. That should be right. Because this is the right side of us greater than the enemy's left side, which is that. Then it should be the easy top collide. Which is going to be if our top is smaller than the bottom, our top would have to be smaller than the bottom of our enemy, which is enemy dot y plus enemy dot height, and the bottom of us, self dot y plus self dot height, would have to be greater than the top of our enemy, which is that. So if we compare this one, yeah, we have the wrong stuff for sure. And then we did the same thing for the y, which means we've been consistent. So that one should work. That should work. I'm gonna keep this cheat sheet open real quick while I do our left collides. Yeah, I guess. So now we need to, and this is the other reason why I needed to draw it all the time, is because now that we're switching the collision, now we need to do this box and this box rather than this box and this box. So it's harder to keep that in your mind. But now this is enemy left collides, which means this would be the collision, right? So let's follow our cheat sheet. We're checking if the left side of us, which in this case is just our self.x, left side would have to be smaller than the enemy right side. And it's not the right side of the, actually it is the rightmost side of the enemy in this case, with the bounding box. would be enemy dot x plus enemy dot width. That would be the right side of our enemy. And we would also do the I already fucked up. The leftmost side. No. Leftmost side of us needs to be smaller than the enemy right side. Okay, that's right. Jesus. And the right side of our ostrich, which isn't the right side of our ostrich, it's the right side of this bounding box. So the right side of our ostrich is going to be self.x plus the 3 pixel buffer. We're seeing if our right side is greater than the enemy's left side, which is the left side of the enemy's bounding box, which is enemies.x plus enemies.width minus the 3 pixel buffer. That's why it's so confusing. We had +8 and +8, weirdly enough. Yeah, we had an 8 pixel buffer. Instead of something like a 3. And then we need to see if our ostrich, the top of our ostrich, was smaller than the enemy's bottom. And the bottom of our ostrich would have to be greater than the topmost of our enemy. If all those are true, return true on this function. And then give ourselves the proper ends. And then return false otherwise. That should be right now. And this can be it out for now. And we need a then. And we need a return true. And we need 2 ends. And then we return false otherwise. Now let's check it. We're looking for that side collision right away. And hopefully that fixes our, we can die. We can kill a vulture and die in the same collision. That was so fucked up. Why the top is detecting first, which, well, hold on. Here we go. Dude, what? That's the same freaking problem. That's the same problem. Why is it not detecting the collision right away? Detects. God, look, they have to like fly through until they're killed. I'm gonna try to boost this buffer and see if that helps or hinders us. Because if we look at the top collides, we've got a buffer of +6. So that could mean they're flying through our buffer zone and not detecting the collision until it's a right collision, or vice versa. I just don't think, I feel like the 3, here we go. Bro, why? 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 What if we just do true axis aligned bounding boxes for side detection because we're checking the top collision and bottom collision anyway? That would at least save this problem from happening. I thought for sure that would fix it. Let's just try true axis aligned bounding box for our side collision. So we're seeing if our left side Aye. Why is it not working though? Part of me thinks we just need to spawn a vulture on our mouse point again and print out manually these collisions because they're just so jacked up. But that's what we did to write this in the first place, so I don't get why they just started to break. You know, like I feel like maybe 8 episodes ago, just all of a sudden I started noticing that. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. As nasty as it is, I'm just gonna comment out this whole crap again. This is disgusting, man. Why? This is so bad. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. I don't even care. I'm just deleting it. I hate looking at it. It's wrong. It's ugly. Let's just do true AABB, and then we'll see if, like, it's already prioritizing top or bottom, and those are only those are working fine. It's just that it's screwing up the side collision. So let's do it if the left side of our ostrich is smaller than the rightmost side of our enemy. And the right side of our ostrich is greater than the leftmost side of our enemy. Then if our top of our ostrich is smaller than the bottom of our enemy, and the bottom of our ostrich is greater than the top of our enemy. If those things are all true, return true. Give me the ends. Otherwise, return false. And I believe we don't need it in else return false like we do up here. I mean, we don't need it up there either. I feel like it's going to go through this, and if it's all of this, it's going to return true and it won't return false. So we don't really need the else there. So let's try this. And this is going to be, since it's not left collides and right collides anymore, it's just a pure freaking, see, no, we do need it. We do need a left collide and right collide because we need to do different things depending on which side it's collided upon. That's the whole idea. So let's do, oh my Jesus. Instead of these slivers of X's, we're gonna do a freaking half, you know, half of the X. So if we modify our left collides, that's gonna be this with this. This would be a left collides. No, this, goddamn. Let's do left collides first. An enemy left collides, or ostrich. See, that's what's confusing, is like the enemy left collides means the enemy's right side collides on the left side of the ostrich. So that's a little confusing, but this would be a left collides. So we're seeing if the leftmost side of our ostrich is smaller than the rightmost side of our ostrich. And the rightmost side of our ostrich, which this is going to be half. Rightmost side of our ostrich is greater than, not the x, but the x plus half the width. Is that right? Oh my god, it's so hard to think of this. The right side of our ostrich, which is the middle, would need to be greater than the left. No. Fuck. It's so hard to wrap my head around. Leftmost side of our ostrich need to be smaller than the rightmost side of our enemy. Yes. The rightmost side of our ostrich has to be greater than leftmost side of our enemy, which is half. That's where the 8 came from. That's where the 8 came from. Son of a bitch. That's where the 8 came from. Because 16 is our width. Half of our width is 8. So that's where the plus 8 came from. God damn. So something else is going on. Because that's right. Top of us would need to be smaller than. Top of us would need to be smaller than the bottom of them. Bottom of us needs to be greater than top of them. Return true. And then our enemy right collides would be this side. Dude, that's where the freaking... See, and that's why I didn't want to delete it, because now I just deleted it. We could have checked and seen if this is the exact code we started with today. Which we could do in our get diff once we finish typing this up, which is nice. So let's just do that. So our ostrich right collides. We're seeing if the left side of our ostrich, which is self.x plus half of our width. That's where the 8 came from. Left side of our ostrich would need to be bigger, god damn it, smaller than the right side, which would be enemy.x plus half the width. And right side of our ostrich, which would be self.x plus self.width, would have to be greater than the leftmost side of our enemy, which is just enemy x. Then we make sure that the top of us is smaller than the bottom of the enemy. And the bottom of us would need to be greater than the top of our enemy. All those are true. Return true. Otherwise, return false. Well, it looked like he killed us right away, so maybe that's it. I'm just spawning one on the bottom here so I can do the collision test easier. But it's random, so we don't always get it on the bottom, do we? Oh, the son of a bitch. Really, man? All three from the top. See how they fly through half of me? Okay. Bro, I'm losing my mind. Let's get diff. Look at this. X smaller than enemy plus width. Self X plus 8. Yep. Is greater than enemy X plus 8. That's exactly what we have. So I guess my next question is the fact that we're returning false outside of this loop screwing us up? Because here we have it. We have the X and Y on one line up here and return true, otherwise return false. So let's try to do that. So we're going to say, we're just going to add it and then return true. We can say else down here, return false. And then if that's not fixing it, then we gotta do something else, obviously. Turn true. Else return false. Okay. Let's see if that changes anything. I don't think it will. Nope. We want one on the bottom here. Come on, bottom. Bro. Not at all. Killed us and spawned an egg. So, I'll tell you what we need. Let me just see if we take out the return true, just for shits and giggles. We take out the return true on side collision. Okay, so it looks like the top collision or bottom collision isn't quite affected. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we just need to go back to the basics, man. We need to say oh my god. So right now, as of this point, our code is exactly the same as when we started. Which isn't super inspiring, but what I will do is give ourselves... Let's see if we know how to do this without looking it up, okay? We're going to give ourselves a tester. The tester is a vulture instantiation. The vulture instantiation takes an X, a Y, a width, and a height, which, if we look at our vultures, when we spawn them, let's see. We just need this. Yeah, so the thing is, we need a mouse X. and a mouse Y. And we need a vulture instantiation at our mouse X and our mouse Y, and width and height of 1624. And then we need to say in our update, we say that our self.mousex gets assigned our love.mouse :get x. Is that what it is? Love.mouse get x. That seems wrong to me. Love.mouse. I don't think it was colon. I thought maybe I'm not. I don't know. So we're putting, this is a function love provides that gets the x position of your mouse and the y, and we're moving that into the mouse x and y. So our mouse x and y are getting updated by our current mouse position, and then we need to render our tester, which is a vulture, at our mouse x and mouse y. So we're going to say in our render function, we're going to say tester render. But the thing is, we're not updating. We need to assign this render renders it at its location, which currently is just hard-coded to the initialize, because it gets initialized, and then if the variables are changed, it's not updating. So we need to say in our update function, we're going to say tester.x now gets self.mousex now that it's updated. And our tester.y now gets our self.mousey, which is now updated. Let's see. Cool. So we've got vulture. For the love of God, I'm going to put our vulture spawn timer to 100. And now in our play state, I'm going to render our debugging. And the debugging I'm doing is going to be enemy left collides, enemy right collides. And we're going to be converting our player 1, running that function. So our player 1 running the function enemy right collides on our tester object. We're converting the boolean of that to a string, concatenating it to this, and then we're doing the same thing with running enemy left collides with a tester object, converting that boolean to a string and printing it out 10 pixels lower. So now we shouldn't have vultures coming out of nowhere. We've got left collides and right collides. Look at this. It's working appropriately. Right collision. It is working appropriately. That should be a left collision. So instead of detecting the collision here, it's only detecting it when it gets past here. It's only doing it right here. So why it's in our implementation that's wrong, not in our functions. So if we look at our collides, player to enemy collision. For every vulture in pairs vulture, if our player is not temporary safety, and if our vulture is not spawning, we're checking that top collision. Else if bottom, else if left collides. See, and this is exactly why I walked through all the conditions. We have facing right and facing right. We have facing left and facing left. We have right and left, and we have left and right. So, I think what's screwing us is the else if and not an else. Because if a condition isn't met, it'll detect the collision and do nothing, which we'd never want to do. So it's almost like shit, man, I need a second away from this. I'm confused that it seemed to be working for so long and then it stopped working. Because for some reason, when let's use the example of when ostrich comes from the bottom and collides with us, we're facing right, they're facing left. So what should happen there is the player's not in temporary safety, vulture is no longer spawning, and player enemy right collides is true. Player enemy right collides is true. So let's walk through this. Facing right, left, right. Oh my god, wait. Right, left, right, left, right. We do have them all. But in this scenario, we're facing right and they're facing left. So it should be this one. So this line of code is not executing properly. And the first thing we're doing is seeing if they're equal. Second thing we're doing is if the ostrich is winning. And you know what? Maybe let's just plop in equals in there to fix that bug, because no, that doesn't matter because we check if it's equals up here. So yeah, if ry is smaller, then we win, which means so what exactly happens when vulture first frame exploded gets true? Nothing. This is our problem. Because what the heck? We really don't have a first frame exploded in our vulture update logic to do anything. So why do we even have it? We have it so we can trigger the egg spawn. See, look, we have a vulture dot exploded, but we're not exploding our vulture. That's the whole fucking deal. Oh my gosh. we're not exploding our vulture. That's the whole deal, man. For whatever reason, we just forgot that. Where am I even looking? Where is our enemy to vulture collision? Here. So look, we have this vulture dot gets exploded for all these other ones. But if we right collide, see our vultures dot exploded, we explode our... This is so fucked. This is why we're messing this up. We've got vulture first frame exploded here, which is not right. We're facing right, they're facing left, and our player is higher. We need to kill our vulture, which we weren't doing. And if they're higher, we need to explode. And we need to not... I don't know why that was like that. Okay. So, if we take a look at this equivalent logic, it's in the right collides, and it's in the joust here. Yeah, look. We have it here. Vulture exploded. And first frame exploded. We didn't have it... you know, we had two mistakes. But now, if we can leave our mouse vulture, I don't really care. And then we can just test when a vulture comes out the bottom. I should probably reprogram the reset to be a bottom vulture, a bottom platform vulture, so I can consistently spawn one down here. Because this is just obnoxious. There we go. Okay, look. Yep, that's it. That fixed it. We just weren't exploding the vulture in our logic. There was nothing wrong with our functions, which we wasted 40 minutes on. But that's why I was having trouble recreating it, because it was only player facing right and a vulture facing left collision that we were wrongfully doing that. But it looks to be fixed now. Cool. And then we still got jockeys that hatch. Okay. We went bug hunting today. It's just so sad that... literally... Oh my god, it's so sad, because look at this. This get diff is actually the same, because we're doing this plus self-width divided by 2, which is 8. I just hard-coded the 8. So all of this in the get diff is actually not mattered. All our tester stuff, which we don't need. This was it. This was our update today. We just forgot to explode the vulture, and for some reason we had the vulture exploding when the player was dying. I guess let's see if we can... What I want to do is... take off our mouse. Where do we update our tester? Right here. What I want to do is change our vulture reset to be spawning at platform 4 instead of platform 2 or whatever. So when we hit when we hit V, instead of a platform 3, we want a platform We can keep the top one and we'll change the third one to actually be down at the bottom platform. So now when we want to test, nope. Let me turn off the render debug as well. Okay, so now when we want to test our vulture coming out, I should have done this at the beginning of the episode. Oh, bro, that's not even kind of right. Why are you not in a platform spawn, homie? Where are our platforms? Spawn point, platform 4L, spawn zone point. What the heck? Yeah, we don't want... What is this? What is the vulture? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the vulture 6 argument? An index. What index? Index, self.index. Index in our vulture table. So our vultures 1 gets overwritten with our vulture 1 instantiation. And then, so why is it that, oh, platform 4. Yeah, we don't want the platform 4, we want the spawn point. So let's just plug in the X and Y of our correct spawn point. And then it also needs platform Y for the drawing of it spawning, but the same Y will suffice. So now if we hit V, we should have a vulture come out the bottom here. Yes. And then we can test it just like that. So I want to run a couple... V? What the fuck? God damn it. Bro. What? See, that should never happen. What the fuck just happened? See, we should not be able to kill him and have him kill us. Which I don't know how to fix. We shouldn't. Is there... I think what's happening is... I think I know what's happening. So, look at, if we're here, we spawn one, it kills us, and then a couple frames later it dies. Oh god. Okay, that's a whole different problem. Because we don't move when we die. Ooh. Actually, I don't know why. Let me see if we die. What do we do? If we die, if our explosion timer is greater than 3, yeah, because we're not officially dying until after the explosion timer. which is fucking our which is making our dead body collide with a vulture, killing the vulture. So if we're exploded and we move our X to the graveyard real quick for the seconds, for the 0.3 seconds that we're dead, move our ostrich's body to the graveyard, then maybe we won't be able to kill and be killed. See that? He kills us. See, but I'm not seeing the explosion anymore. And that's because the explosion's rendering at our dead bodies, location, because we don't have a last X and last Y. So if we look at our exploded, we're drawing, oh my god, man. We've got these explosion drawables that we're rendering at a self.x and a self.y, but this should really be last X and last Y. And then we need to update our Y, our last X and last Y, as long as we're not dying. That should fix that problem. And then we'll have fixed 2 bugs in this episode. 2 bugs that were driving me crazy. So, if we're exploded, let's see. I want to see if the update function, if we have if not exploded. If spawning, yeah. If not exploded, then we need to update our self.lastx, and we don't have these variables just yet, but we're going to be moving our self.x into our last.x variable, and we'll be moving our self.y into our last y variable, and only updating those variables if we're not exploded. That should still set our exploded to true upon death, but it moves us to graveyard instantly, but then we render the explosions at our last updated X and Y. So as long as we give ourselves a last X and a last Y up here, we should have no problem. And now, moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen, we should see an explosion and they don't die. Perfect. Our dead body was chilling on screen, still interactable and collidable. What just happened there? Yo, you guys saw that, right? That egg. What the fuck? Oh, you know what? I think that only happened because I spawned. I think that only happened because... Oh god. Hold on. What? That one's messing it up. That one's messing it up. Our tester... Wait, why is there 4? 1, 2, 3. Yo, what the fuck? Oh no. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, now you come out. Damn, dude. What the fuck? So look, if I go to the place where I just killed... Well... What the fuck, man? So look, I killed the vulture over here, right? Now if I wait till jockey hatches, and then I collect the jockey, then I go back to where I killed him? No? Or if I kill another thing? No? Bro, that's what drives me most crazy, is when I can't freaking replicate the stupid-ass bugs I find. Why am I not doing it? Why does it seem to be working now? See, look, what? Why? Why? Oh, what? What? Oh. Bro, I don't know. I don't know. What the heck's going on? Maybe our get diff will tell us. It wouldn't be there. We gave our ostrich a last X and Y. Wouldn't be there. Wouldn't be there. Wouldn't be any of that. Those are commented out. That's commented out. We're not pressing V. That was our fix. That's commented out. Jesus. So you're telling me that bug was in there the whole time? Let me just, I'm gonna pull up, I've got a slightly older version of the Joust program on my laptop. And I'm gonna pull it up on my laptop and see if I can get any of those weird bugs to happen. Oh, this is a way older version. I don't even have the scores on yet. Hold on, how do I... I'm gonna download last commit to my laptop and test it real quick. Let's see. Okay, I just need to check out the specific commit. So if I do a git pull, I've got the last commit, which is actually just what we wanted to test, so I'm just seeing if our last commit is super jank with these. Yep, it is. Oh my god. So there was more bugs I just was not finding. So why is it... What? Hold on. Okay, okay. I at least realize one thing that's happening is our our jockey is spawning even if we collect the egg, which should not be happening. So we can at least fix that. We shouldn't be instantiating a jockey. Because look at this, if we collect an egg, we'll get one egg. Okay, that was fucked. We'll get an egg and then watch a jockey appear right here. Yep. Why would you be cut off like that? Give me a... So, let's take a quick peek at our jockey instantiation. Which is where? It'd be in a... I don't know, man. Where is it? It would be in our vulture. Or our egg. Yeah. There we go. So, we need to see... Oh, that's weird, because we shouldn't instantiate a jockey unless our hatch animation is greater than a 0.4. Hatch animation will only get bigger if we are self-hatched. And we are only self-hatched if our hatched countdown is smaller than 0 and not collected. Correct? Yeah. We would say, and self-collected is false. If we are collected, you cannot become hatched. And that should fix our jockeys spawning upon so if we wait till that hatches, we're just never becoming hatched. Where do we start the hatch countdown? If our DX is 0 and we're not hatched. See, well, that's where we have the not hatched. We're not moving, we're not hatched. Start the hatched countdown. If countdown is smaller than 0, set it back to 0. Hatched is true. So how is it that we're hatching when we're collected? It's not. It's collected. If it's and not collected, not hatched, right? That was my bad. Bro, just get over here so I can murder you. Don't take that out of context. Okay. Hatch? Okay, cool. Now, what happens if I... Bro, what? Why would that spawn? What? How come every time I die an egg pops out? How come every time I die an egg pops out? Oh. That's a bug. Fuckers. How come every time I die an egg pops out? What the hell is that about? Okay, so look, I collected these 2 eggs. There should not be jockeys spawning in the middle of the air now. But how come when I die, an egg was popping out? Bro, what the? Why would that ever happen? Yeah, I get it. Okay. How come when I die, an egg pops out? That's never the case. Let me see when we... Oops. If I look in here and say anytime we spawn an egg, right? Never. What the heck, man? Where do we do egg spawning? The only time I see us spawning an egg is if egg spawn is true. So when do we egg spawn? Do we do it in our ostrich? No. Do we do it in our play state? Okay. Okay, here's maybe a little clue, because I have a little note here that said, make this true, the frame we explode. We explode? No, no, no. The frame vulture explodes. If vulture is exploded, spawn an egg. Why would egg spawn ever be true when we die? So is there a possibility that when a vulture's exploded, it doesn't die? That doesn't make any sense. Exploded. If not exploded. So let's go to the if exploded, which is here. We're gonna spawn an egg if the vulture's exploded. Yeah. Hoi, hoi, hoi. Why? Why would an egg spawn if we... Why would an egg spawn if we are dead? Is the stupidest thing. So like we get an egg, and then we die? Well, now you're not working for me. We get an egg. Bro, just kill me. This is gonna kill us. This is gonna... We can't spawn more eggs than we have in the wave, otherwise we'll get a crash. So I'm trying to die and then die again and then collect an egg. Oh, bro, why is that happening? Why would an egg spawn when we die? Makes no sense. Just kill him, just kill him. So look, we get an egg, we die. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. It's only when I'm facing this way, it seems like. When I'm facing right, and I die after I've collected an egg pops out of the last place we killed. a vulture, right? So, look, if we kill a vulture up here, at the very top of that, we're going to collect its egg, then we're going to die facing right, and an egg comes out of that dead vulture's body. Fucking why? And then that egg will get overwritten if I die facing right. So what is happening that we're dying facing right that's causing a freaking egg to appear? If we look at our collision, our player to vulture collision, we might be setting a vulture exploded. Oh, there could be a couple things. We could not be moving the vulture upon death. Well, actually, yeah, that's clear. We're not moving. No, fuck, no, because the egg spawn is spawned to the last egg, the last X and Y of the vulture. So even though the vulture wouldn't be there, it would still pop out of the same hole. So it's not that we don't move the vulture to the graveyard, although it could be. But it's more likely that, for whatever reason, when a player collides with an enemy and we're facing right, so it's, yeah, it was let's test the specific instance. It was if it was a right collision, an enemy right collision, yeah, enemy right collision. So enemy right collision right here, and I was facing right and vulture was facing not right, then player one is exploded. That's all we do. So why is an egg popping out of there? The thing that is here, the vulture has the highest lance. Oh my God. Let me see. If we turn this off, this should make it so that, what? Where do we use that first frame exploded? That's a terrible name for that. I mean, it's really just to spawn an egg, and only one egg. We're setting it to false right away after we spawn the egg. So if we turn that off, we won't spawn an egg. Let me just see. Yeah, but then if we die, what the? Bro, what? An egg from the heavens. So look, we'll get ourselves an egg, and then we'll die when we're facing right. Where did that freaking heaven egg come from? You saw that, right? Bro, we're not... What? Jesus. I'm not gonna figure this out right now, man. If ostrich has higher lance, we should spawn an egg. But we need to troubleshoot why an egg's coming from the freaking gods the moment, because an egg should never come from anywhere other than the exact place where that vulture died. Because eggs are instantiated at the last X and Y of a given vulture. Right? Yes, we're spawning. We spawn the egg at the last X, and we're updating our last X appropriately. If we're not exploded, we update our last X. Okay. What the fuck, man? Okay. I don't know. We've got more bugs to fix. We fixed this. This is exactly what I wrote last time. First frame exploded out because it was giving us problems. So we need to rethink that, I think. So it looks like I was on to that. But yeah. There should be a make sure we don't die. I'm gonna add ensure we can't kill vulture if dead, which we did by moving us to the graveyard and adding in the last X and last Y for our player. Yeah, tomorrow we're just gonna go more bug hunting because it's just driving me crazy. I just need it to be working before I start adding more functionality, because if it's not working now, it's only gonna get messier. So tomorrow's gonna be that. Gonna fix this egg problem. I'm gonna add everything to the staging area with a commit message saying we did two things. We fixed player enemy collision bug and fixed or I would say and moved ostrich upon death. Okay. Enemy. Fixed enemy. Collision bug. Okay, so tomorrow we've got to fix the egg from the heavens. And maybe refactor out that first frame exploded logic because it's just so jacked up. But we did fix two things today. So if tomorrow we only fix the one thing, I'm just hoping we don't find more things. That's always what happens, is we'll fix one thing and find two things we need to fix, and then fix one thing, find two more things. So it can get a little disheartening, but we did make progress. We did code today. Oh my god, almost 2 hours of just fixing two little bugs. It's okay. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll do more bug hunting.